all had those moments when we've lost our motivation. So today, psychotherapist Esther Bartkiw is here to give us some tips on getting motivated. Please, everybody, welcome Esther. Hi, Esther.
Hi, Chris.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us today. Well, you know, whether we lose our motivation or we're just not that kind of a person, we're not a very motivated type of a person, which I find I am actually not that motivated sometimes.
Right.
What is it about us that why are we losing that or don't have that?
Well, the number one culprit to losing motivation is our thinking, the thoughts that we're thinking. When we're constantly focused on, I can't do it, or it's too hard, I'm too tired, what are other people going to think? We can get demotivated very quickly. Then we get bogged down by the stressors of everyday life. We're tired at the end of the day. We're not motivated to do things. Sometimes we're just not clear on what we want, and clarity is everything. And then sometimes we're just not putting the right steps into place to churn up that motivation machine that lies inside of us.
And what's so important about why is it so important that we get motivated, that we are motivated?
Well, that's the juice of life. We get excited. We want to do things. We want to accomplish things. And ultimately, that's what brings us the most fun when we set out for a goal and we achieve it.
Okay, so let's start getting motivated. What's the first thing that we should do?
Okay, with everything, it's the thought. So our thoughts anchor everything. They create our emotions, our behaviors, and our results. So if you're not motivated, what that tells me is at the core of that, you're thinking some negative and limiting thoughts, or you're holding some beliefs. So let's find out what they are. Let's examine them. Let's change them to positive beliefs, because when you have a mindset that's very positive, then all of a sudden you start getting excited and motivated again.
So you're talking about, in my notes here, we talk about that you have to be clear with your purpose. You have to know what your goal is and be clear with that.
Well, a muddled focus gets you muddled results. So clarity is very important. And when I say get clear on what you're trying to create or what you want, know what it feels like, smells like, tastes like. What are you going to be like when you've achieved this? And then envision it as much as you can. That will give you great clarity. Now, attached to that is, what is the purpose? Why do I want this? And really examine that and make your why big. Because when your why is big, that's what's going to get you out of bed in the morning when it's cold and rainy and you don't want to go to the gym.
That why has to be really big for me. That why you should have some chocolate at the end of it.
Okay.
Or a glass of wine, one or the other, right? All right, make a firm decision. You talk about you have to make a firm decision.
Yes, decision. When you make a firm decision, it's like having an inner strong commitment. So you're really holding solid into something. It's not wishful thinking or wouldn't it be nice if or I want. If you're holding that kind of thinking and you haven't made a firm commitment, at the first sign of a challenge, you're just going to be blown off course.
Right.
And then also, if you're not focused and you haven't made that decision, you can get distracted very easily. I call it the shiny ball syndrome, and I used to have this. I'd be on track, and then this nice shiny ball would come over here, and I'd go, ooh, I want that.
Wow, I know somebody else who's like that.
Okay, do you?
But with me, it's more like a shiny diamond. If I see a lady in the audience with a shiny diamond, I was like, ooh, I like her.
And then we never accomplish anything because we're always chasing after these shiny balls or diamonds.
Distracted.
And we get demotivated because we're not accomplishing anything.
Okay, so now you take massive action. Like, you're not just saying take action, you say take massive action.
Massive action, big action, because what that does is it just turns the energy around you, and really that's when the magic and miracles start happening. So for one person, massive action might be picking up the phone and calling somebody who they needed to call a year ago.
Right.
For someone else, it's packing up and moving right across the country. So it's different from person to person. What I'm not talking about here is that, you know, that busy action where it looks like I'm busy doing things all the time, but I get nowhere. So pick an action, focus according to your goal, and take massive action.
Okay, now you say acknowledge your achievements. So is this like basically saying, okay, I've done this, I need to recognize it, and I need to say that was a good job, well done?
This is so important. Every step of the way, acknowledge and validate what you're accomplishing. Children are so great at this. When they do something really great, they look at everybody and say, look what I did. They jump up and down. We've lost this as adults. We accomplish something, we go sit on the sofa and say, oh, thank God that is over, and then we're on to the next thing. But revel in your accomplishments. Celebrate your achievements. What this does is it sends a signal to the brain, I like what's going on. send me more of this. And then you start having that harmony between what you want and your inner self.
So it's almost like if you take one thing that you're going to be motivated about and you get to this point where you have that, you acknowledge your achievements, then you're going to take another thing. You're going to start from step one, which is change your outlook and go all the way through the process till you get to another point where you have another one you can say, I just achieved something else that's great. Wow, isn't that impressive?
Exactly.
To yourself. So that's brilliant. Okay, so you've got some great tips here to keep motivated, to keep it going.
Mm-hmm. So surround yourself by positive people. We don't want the naysayers or the people that tell us,
Amen. I am over it. I am over it. You know what? I've had so many in my life, and you got to say no. And you know what? There's been times in my life that I have to admit I've been a bit of a naysayer. So you can also say, you know what? I don't want them in my life anymore. But you also have to remind yourself, don't do it either. You can't do it.
Exactly.
Just take it right out of your life. I'm so up with that one.
Oh, I love that one.
I am picking up what you're putting down.
Great. I love it. And then, you know, that attitude of gratitude is really important. Everybody says it, but it's really good. Read inspirational books. Watch inspirational movies. You know, like the Olympics. We all watched the Olympics and we all went, oh, they can do that. I can do this.
It's so proud when you see a country so inspired by the athletes that represent them.
Yes.
And that's inspirational television. Why watch shows that are about death and destruction when you can watch other things that are inspirational? I totally, look at you, I'm loving this. This is another one, amen, up in here.
Yes. And then, you know, we all get to that point, and I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about, where no matter how focused and how dedicated we are and how many good beliefs we have going on in our mind, we just hit a block and we get frustrated. So this is when I say, just step back from everything, go and play and have fun. Do something right off the wall for yourself. I like to go to the beach. That's my favorite thing to do. What that does is it relaxes the tension around whatever's going on. We get creative, those juices start going, and then as soon as we walk back into the situation, it's like the answers start coming and the motivation is back, and we're back on track again. So stepping away and having fun and being playful is really important.
Well, you know what? Anybody who's been watching this segment, I have a feeling is going to get some motivation going on in their life right now, and they're going to go have some fun. So thank you for being with us today to share that with us. Fantastic, great stuff. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, we have to take a quick break, but before we do, here's Finance Ambassador Arlene Dickinson with